Hello and welcome to the episode 201 of What a Fab Day. I am your host, Simon Mas. Today, among other things, Paul McCartney joins the Quarrymen. Well, maybe. The Beatles start pondering real estate shopping in Greece, and Jane Asher tells the world of the breakup between her and Paul. Let's start this episode with another historical mess. According to Mark Lewison, the 20th of July 1957 is probably the date in which Pete Shotton, the chess bass player of the Quarrymen, had a chance meeting with Paul McCartney while cycling in Woolton. According to Lewison, Shotton invited McCartney to join the band on behalf of John Lennon. Paul thought about it and agreed. In the Complete Beatles Chronicles, Lewison also says that McCartney started to rehearse with the Quarrymen before going on holiday. On the other hand, in the anthology video series, Paul McCartney explicitly states that he went on holiday first, pondering on whether to join the Quarrymen or not. In addition, in the anthology book, Paul says he was asked to join by Shotton and agreed, at an unspecified date, through Ivan Bogan. In the same book, John Lennon is quoted saying, "I turned around to him right then on the first meeting and said, 'Do you want to join the group?' And he said yes the next day, as I recall it." So, there you go. That's the life of a historian. Even when something happened less than 70 years ago, we have several different recollections of the same event. Choose the one you like the most. Moving on, in 1961, the Beatles with Pete Best on drums performed at the St. John's Hall in Liverpool. 1 year later, in 1962, the same lineup of the band hit quite a milestone. With this lunchtime performance, they clocked 200 gigs at the Cavern Club in Liverpool between lunchtime and evening engagements. In the evening, seemingly never tired, the band was on the stage of the Bell Hall in Warrington, supported by the Vigilantes and the Renegades. On the 20th of July 1963, we find the Beatles, now with Ringo Starr on the drummer's seat, playing their second and last sold-out night in a row at the Ritz Ballroom in Rhyl, Wales. Immediately after the end of the second house, the band jumped on their van and returned home to Liverpool. In 1967, as a good segue to yesterday's episode, and to make you understand how seriously John Lennon's proposal of starting a quasi-commune on a Greek island was considered by the other Beatles, George Harrison and Ringo Starr, along with Patty Harrison and Beatles assistant Neil Aspinall, decided to fly to Greece and join Alexis Mardas to check out possible islands to buy. They landed in Athens and were greeted by Alexis and his father, a member of the fascist Greek military police. They stayed at the Mardas family house while waiting for John Lennon and Paul McCartney to arrive on the following day. In the meantime, Paul was busy in London and, more precisely, at the Chapel Recording Studios. It was there that he conducted the remake of the recording of one of his earliest songs, the Quarrymen-era Catwalk, renamed Catcall for the occasion. The Beatles had never attempted a professional recording of the song, and McCartney had decided to talk Chris Barber, leader of the jazz group the Chris Barber Band, to record and issue the song as a single. The band had already recorded a version of Catcall live at the Marquee Club earlier in the month, but Paul, always a perfectionist, thought the performance could be improved upon. The arrangement was revised, and Paul had fun directing the session and, probably, playing an organ part to be added to the rhythm track. The song was issued as a single in 1967, but it failed to chart. 1 year later, in 1968, Jane Asher went public about her breakup with Paul McCartney. During an appearance on BBC's The Time, the actress confessed to the host, Simon D., that "I haven't broken it off, but it is broken off, finished. I know it sounds corny, but we still see each other and love each other, but it hasn't worked out. Perhaps we'll be childhood sweethearts and meet again and get married when we're about 70. The world took notice. And you better take notice of a web address: www.simonmas.com/support. There you go! Now you know where you can find all the information to support my efforts to create ever better music-related content. Many of the things you can do will not cost you a single penny and just a tiny bit of your time. But if you decide to make the difference, you'll show me how much you care. Thank you! Let's close the episode with a 1969 screening of a rough cut of the Get Back film. Hundreds of hours of footage had been reduced to 210 minutes and were shown to the Beatles to see what the band thought of the effort. Well, the result didn't sit well with Paul, George and Ringo, who asked to cut a considerable amount of footage, mostly focusing on John and Yoko. I guess this untimely reminder of the nadir of the Beatles has to close the episode. See you tomorrow for more stories about the four you love. For the moment, I wish you a good day and a fab continuation. Simon Mas, music you love.